So how are you holding up? I think I have a bit of an idea with the new look.
I've seen better days, but I do recognize that there are others who distinctively have it worse than I do right now.
Well, without a doubt. I don't know if you've heard much about those others, but I can fill you in a bit, later once we've had a chance to talk and catch up, and if you'd like, that is.
Why do you want to catch up?
This is. hmm, I think the more important thing that I'd like to tell you about is that I guess it's a warning. Something on our end is going to happen that will paint a target, or maybe just reveal the same one that was already there for the people that were involved in Echo in the past. And we've been speaking to everyone out of respect for them, the work they've done, and fear for their safety, to let them know that we don't expect any involvement. We just like to give a heads up. Previously, of course, you also have been welcome at a certain safe house, Tortuga, but that place is burned, and after today, I don't believe that we will ever be going back there. If we do, it will be cover of night, security, the works. But we wanted to give you a heads up first and foremost. I know that you're in a similar situation that we probably will be soon. But rather than add something to that pile, I think you deserve the warning.
I appreciate that.
I suppose there's also just the personal matters as far as those go. Is I just think I owe you an apology for hmm, not doing what I should have done as a friend. While it wasn't my intent to treat you like a source, information, thing, what have you, I think that our relationship may have become at least transactional, not via intent, but I think just the nature of what we were both doing, and I take a large portion of the blame for that. In fact, I'd say all of it. It wasn't my intent, but I do recognize, I guess, my mistakes now, looking back.
Why don't I deserve any of the blame?
Hmm. I think that I pulled you into this. I'm sure in some form there's
Mm,
probably a different time where things still occurred similar to the way they did, but I was the one, Mr. Waxford, that approached you. I
that
told
is
you about
true.
these things, introduced you to, I guess, just the idea, the faceless, etc. And I think that initial introduction on my behalf is a large portion of why things became they were later down the line. And I'm truly sorry for that.
Frank said something similar about lamenting about our relationship becoming transactional. I presume you two have spoken about this together?
Not in length. I think we decided it would be better to try and, you know, speak to you on our own using our own words instead of trying to, because I think at the core we began differently. You and Frank were more, I think, a more organic friendship, something more real than how we started. It was a bit more. I mean, lack of a better phrase, it was transactional in the beginning.
That is true. Doesn't make the friendship any less organic, from my perspective, at
Mm.
least.
I do just regret not. I guess I've always regretted forcing this upon you. I know that the faceless now, of course, in hindsight, being 2020, the likely had their eyes on you long before. I mean, who knows how long at this point. So they likely would have approached you in some form or another, but it still feels as if I guess, drug you into this. And
I made my own decisions. And you helped me. You never forced me to do anything. You simply opened a doorway and gave perspective.
not in the least bit ominous. But I still hope that, gosh, quite a storm. I guess I hope that some way we can. Oh dear, maybe we should get indoors somewhere. Oh God, I was speaking about just the general apology and I guess you're right on that. The door was the door was just opened, I suppose.
I never want you to feel guilty about all of that. Did you help? Yes. Did you open the door a considerable amount wider? Yes. If anything, you gave me a safer avenue to chase some of the things that I'd already been sticking my nose into.
I guess that is another way of looking at it. I'd like to also just thank you, for your help. You've helped me realize a few things. I guess just as far as doing the right thing, just I suppose it's for the sake of doing it, and not out of, I suppose, on my end, guilt for other actions, for not speaking up sooner when I saw things happening, and for playing the part I did with the people I did.
You and I both know I have no leg to stand on in regards to that, but that doesn't make me appreciate you saying it out loud nonetheless.
And I'd be a hypocrite if I judged your actions without looking at my own. Leah sat there for 4 months. I didn't speak up. I saw the faceless firsthand in the place that paper now uses as an office. Didn't speak up then. Didn't speak up after that. But I think you helped me look at things a certain way, and even if it took a bit longer, I'm glad I'm working with people that are speaking up now. And I don't think without you that would have never happened.
I have to disagree. I don't see where I would have played a part in that. You have always had a very strong moral conviction I think you know better than just about anyone else here in San Andreas that timing is the thing.
I think before that I acted at least partially. It's not hard to look at these things, see what's happening around you, and recognize them as the wrong thing. But I think the having been introduced to Frank and Nora, I think it shifted my perspective more than just doing the right thing because I guess just for maybe myself or the people immediately around me, and to doing it for the greater good because it's what everybody needs and what everybody deserves.
Hmm.
At the very least, the option to choose. Frank and Nora, especially Nora, has opened my eyes to a lot of different ways of thinking that decenter myself, I suppose, from them.
It can certainly be a difficult balance to find. And the only thing we truly know is ourselves. So I hope you don't blame yourself too much in that regard.
I'll try. Well, I'll keep trying not to, I guess.
Hmm.
And what about you? Are you how I suppose how have things changed with you? I know there's
I know I owe you some apologies as well.
oh,
I certainly could have given you more grace. A considerable amount more grace. And not have been so reactive in the immediate moment. But I do have to acknowledge, or I suppose, express my confusion as to what did I do wrong? And I hope you're upfront with me
hmm.
with this.
I 100%. I don't think you did anything wrong, but I can't call this wrong because it was your decision, but we there was a time when, and admittedly things were at their most chaotic, at least at that point in time, where we were trying to we wanted to speak with you. We wanted to try and get contact with you, and I think we sent a lot of messages and made a lot of calls, but they never went through, and it seemed as if you wanted to be left alone. And we as terrible as this sounds, it's selfish and it's why it never happened, but we realized our only option of being able to speak with you would probably have been ambushing you, and we just didn't want to do that, tricking you into meeting up with us so we can talk and or whatever, apologize, whatever we thought we needed to say at the time. But I can't speak for Frank, but it just seemed as if you wanted to be left alone, and it wasn't our right to do anything but try to extend the hand and at least let you know there was people that wanted to wanted to make sure you were okay, but it just seemed to
I'm
me at
talking
least
about
that
before
wasn't the
then. I know the
before.
circumstances are a little hazy,
Hmm.
but I stopped talking to you all because of the arguments that we had before then.
Oh, I see.
If
I
I
I
have the
understand now.
timeline correct.
I understand now. Yes. I remember it was after it was after a call. I believe it was after a call where we did argue. Yes, I do remember that now.
Frank held me responsible for something someone else did. Frank and I already hashed that out. But I still. And again, please be as blunt with me as possible, as I do not wish to play polite with you.
No, not at all.
You're too important to me for that.
I think it was a combination of, at least looking at it after having reflected on it, it was a combination of the things happening in Babylon. Well, not even in Babylon. It's the things that happened with I guess us looking at Babylon as a monolith at the time, and the things that would happen, the responses that happened, none of which came from you. In fact, you helped us multiple times without not needing to. But I think it came from that, along with the stress of myself at least juggling these identities, hiding the buildup just over and over and over and over. And I think it only got worse as time went on. And I think I placed blame on you that was not due at all. And then that shifted into, well, I guess what happened after what I mentioned, trying to reach out, but having already messed up, I guess.
I must have done something, right? I must have done something to break your trust in me.
I
To
think we did.
essentially toss aside everything that we had been through together.
I think that,
What
as
did
I said,
I do?
I don't think it was something that you did. I think it was. I think it was me, and I just based on the conversations, I won't try to speak for him completely, but just our view of looking at you as what you became, or what it appeared you became, as a Babylonian instead of the individual that you are. We saw what was happening. We were receiving these threats, and I think that we judged you the same as all the others, even though we should have known better. It's
Please
with
enlighten me.
everything
What did
going
I
on,
become?
and I don't I don't think you became anything. I think you changed as a person, which we all have, and but I think I misjudged that change
What did you
as
think I
being,
became, though, if I may interject?
I guess, compliant with the things that were happening there. But I never asked. It seems obvious and stupid in hindsight. I never called and asked Eliza, "Are you okay with the things going on?" I didn't recognize until much later that you were in a place surrounded by the only people now that you really knew, the only people, regardless of if you trusted all of them or none of them, they were still the only people that you had. And I didn't take into consideration that you were you were Eliza. You were not a Babylonian. You all weren't some monolith. I think I misjudged the normal organic changes as something extreme, I guess. Seeing the things come out of there, the things that were happening, and
The guns,
grouping
the
everyone
drugs.
involved. Mm. Grouping everybody involved. When when thinking back on it, I think I know what would happen to people that spoke out too heavily against those things. The same thing that happens with anything, with anybody that speaks out against the status quo.
You'd be surprised.
Hmm. Really?
So I went there originally for a sabbatical. I think that's what I
Yeah.
said to everyone, and at the start, it was sincere. Probably for about a month, I hated it there. Fucking hated it.
I do recall you looking fairly emaciated a few times.
It was hard, but there was something that told me I needed to see this out, challenge myself. Got to the point where I started during town hall meetings speaking out, saying certain things were bullshit,
Hmm.
pointing out how awful the living conditions were. And at one meeting where I got into a shouting match with Lang and a couple of others in front of the rest of Babylon, instead of doing the thing that those types usually do, I mean, I think there was a part of me that was almost challenging them to put a bullet in my head from the way I was talking. Instead, he made me the regent, the right hand, as a way to say, all right, well, if you have issues with all of these things, then help fix it.
Hmm.
For a brief time, it worked. But other leaders were named, and to some degree, my role became defunct, and I lost a bit of sight on how to achieve what I wanted to. It felt like a Sisyphusian task. Babysitting a bunch of people who chaos is inherently in their nature. Now, that's not to say all Babylonians. There were different factions, right? There were those from gangs that wanted a change of pace, but couldn't quite let go of those old instincts. Business owners, restaurateurs, pirates.
I do recall that.
Brainwashing therapists. Clerics. An entire swath of personalities. Now I can recognize the role I played in keeping things well knit, but more and more, I took more compromises in hopes that in the long term, it would help us achieve our goals. Then I took on the responsibility of being the key holder, blasting the door wide open for constructive possession, which I'm still eating now. But calling things out when it felt like it would be productive, which I know that's cheap and weak. And you're right. There were
I don't
some
think so.
places that I did compromise, but in the situation I was in, I did the best I could, but it wasn't enough. If anything, I delayed the inevitable. Truly. If it wasn't for the work that myself and 2-3 other people did, Babylon would have self-imploded about 3 months earlier. 5 months, probably. But by virtue of remaining there, you are correct. I was complicit with what was happening.
No,
Because if I truly was against everything, I could have simply left. And while there were parts of me that did and do still believe that trying to fix things from the inside is the best way about it, sometimes a system is so inherently flawed that it's going to collapse regardless of what you do. And I'm certain you take my double meaning here.
without a doubt.
So, I do take responsibility for that. And I can't... I truly can't be that upset that you all thought that of me. Because I do understand. But it does still sting. That what I thought was an even kinship was... so easily cracked. And I'll recognize my doing in that.
I can't begin to apologize enough for the assumptions that I made, assumptions that we made. Just, I think there was so much fear and worry for doing what we were doing, reporting what we reported. There were scenarios where we would receive a personal tip from a Babylonian openly in what I figured was perhaps even leadership positions or higher ranking, like Speedy. And when those things were reported, after being shown them not in private, not in secret, not as an anonymous source, but openly, we were placed on bounty boards for spreading the information that they gave us to spread. And I think that fear, that worrying for our lives, and it caused us to look at Babylonians all as one monolith, like I said. And having met more and a few that were a part of that, and understanding that they are they would speak to us about their experiences, and how they didn't agree with some things, but there was just only so much they could say as well. It painted, it gave so much more perspective, I suppose.
No, the bounty board stuff was... that shit was so annoying. It was so poorly organized.
It seemed like it. It seemed like it.
There was a lot of... let's just say communication all but fell apart completely towards the end of everything.
That
great
was
indicator.
Something that made it difficult to one thing, it made it difficult to predict everybody's next move. If anything, it at least helped them with that.
No, and you're incredibly justified in being upset, especially with it being unregulated and at people's whims without really discussing with people who were actually in leadership. Something that I would rail about all the time. Communication. But some people just, unless you are their OG, it doesn't matter what leadership structure is in place. They don't really care to respect it.
We learned a bit about, about the inner workings or lack of workings after the fall. speaking to a few people that made their own way or disassociated and whatnot. To be fair, a lot of it wasn't bad talk, but just it's their lives, their experiences. But I'm glad to see you come out. Can't say unscathed, but I'm glad you made it out of there. I'm
No,
sorry
I'm paying
I
some of
didn't
my
give you the grace you
consequences.
deserved.
Mm.
Aren't we all?
Neither of us did.
I think we have to get ready. Nora, Frank, and I. There's a bit more work to be done before, well, that's the coming storm. Call that one the storm before the storm.
Well, I'm glad we're getting this chance to talk while we're standing at the precipice of whatever this is.
I do hope it's not the last time. Tortuga may not be a safe haven, but if there's anything you need, you can still contact myself or Frank. The smallest thing, even just an update or check in. Vice versa, we'll try and do the same if you're okay with that.
I would like that. You said that you, Frank, and Nora met with Charlie.
I met once. Once as, well, I was disguised as a gentleman named Mikkel Walker for the better part of, I'd say, 4 months.
I do remember that.
Yes. Good friend of mine
MDT
that had left the
photo and
city.
all.
MDT photograph and all, thanks to the lovely Kappa virus. Having been with 2 trusted individuals during the first attack on the observatory by the Faceless to knock out the radar scanner, we were approached by police and ID'd. And them having trusted Nora and Frank, I was given the same leeway and had a new photograph taken on the spot for Mikkel Walker. That sealed the deal.
Truly remarkable.
Then we had another meeting with Charlie after the fact, and there were assets there. And they didn't recognize me at first, the hair and all, but they, I think, immediately, if they had not already been, because Frank and Nora were privy to information that no one else was, or at least no one else that would speak of it. And seeing me there, it likely put a lot together for them, which unfortunately also burned Tortuga. But I was done hiding. But was there something you wanted to know about the meetings? I don't remember much, but I can open to share.
I will be very blunt with you. I am not saying this to sway you in any direction. I want to make that very clear. You're a very shrewd man, Mikey. And I know that you know more than well enough how to navigate even the most dubious situations. I've said this much to Frank, so I feel comfortable telling you this. I care about Frank. I'm not going to discount the things that we have gone through together, but I do not trust him.
Do you know why he has continued to meet with him? I don't know if he told you what he got involved with, and it's not my place, but I don't believe there's a single part of him, and after this, after what happens next, I think that will be painted very clear, but I don't think there is any part of them that has any love for the Faceless, what they do, what they want, or any single person that is associated with them. They have, time and time again, attempted to use him, and even going as far as to put a gun in his hand. In the echelon, I believe it was, and tell him to point the gun at Nora. Pull the trigger. And I believe he refused to. I don't think the gun was loaded either, and it's a trick that I've heard they've tried before on others in the past. For someone you might be more familiar with, that didn't work out the way they had planned. They tried to turn the gun on Charlie or the Blue Man, whoever they were with, and they ended up strapped to a bomb. We don't meet with Charlie because we want to. We know we could hang up the phone, tell him to screw off, whatever, and eventually him, the assets, or worse, someone that doesn't know our face or that doesn't know our name, that wouldn't give us the same leeway that they do when they open their door instead of handcuffing us, throwing bags on our heads, beating us until we end up at the same place anyway. These are these meetings, they've been voluntary in no way, shape, or form. They're out of necessity for going on and continuing what we do. I trust Frank and I trust Nora both with my life, and they've shared with me that same feeling. But I do hope that somehow you can look to trust them the same way I do, because Frank at least, he trusts you. If he didn't, we wouldn't have tried to come to you and at least let you know, give you a heads up. It's your choice whether to disassociate. We're not asking you to join. We're not trying to recruit you. We want you to know that if something happens, I'm sure you'd have much bigger things on your plate if you're caught. We don't plan to, as always, ever give up the name of a source, ever give up the members of Echo. But some are known, some aren't, and we'd like to at least keep as many people out of this that aren't involved. I think the trust in Frank is something that I won't try to sway you too hard with. It's really up to you in the end. But I hope you can see what I see.
I won't ask about any particulars. But I will ask if you feel at liberty sharing this.
Of course.
What do you hope to accomplish?
It's, at its core, it's the same as the paper. There's no real difference. There's masks, videos, theater for the people who need a. They wouldn't care what the faceless said if they didn't have a fancy mask and a budget. It's the paper. That's all it is. We want to give people the information that we believe they should be privy to, that they should be able to know, that they deserve to know to make whatever choice they want. It's just like with the paper. We never tried to tell anyone how to think. We wanted people to look at the facts that we were given, the facts that we reported, and decide, do I like this or do I not? Everyone could see what we're about to do and say, screw these guys. I'm with the faceless. I don't care about the city. I want to see it burn. But if even one person gleans some kind of information from this to understand what's happening in their lives, that's a success for me. It just exists to give the people the choice, the option to do whatever it is they want to do, instead of having to stand idly by while they're told what to think by the faceless or even the government. That is at its core the paper, and that is at its core Echo. It's not try to play hero. We aren't heroes. Not try to capture assets and shoot them, torture them for information. It's simply just giving people the option to do something, anything. That's it.
That is very honorable.
I think it's just the right thing to do.
Indeed.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to know? I'm fine with you asking. If not, I think it's time to get going.
Of course. Well, I know I've really put you on the spot a lot today.
Not at all, not at all.
If you have any questions of me, or any affronts that I have yet to answer for, I kindly ask that you do.
I hope that we can. What is it that you want now?
What I'm trying to work on?
Yeah. What is it that you want? What is? I don't care about what's happened now, but I'm trying to look at the future, I guess.
I have to say, I'm in a similar position. It is seeming more and more like any attempts to fight against what is happening. I hope you can forgive me for sounding defeatist, but they, in essence, already won. Quotation marks.
I don't disagree.
Complacency, apathy. Sure, they are actively knocking out some of our foundations of infrastructure, of society.
The pillars, yeah.
But, and as loath as I am to repeat what McNulty said in that video, but it has been rotting. It's been rotting for a while. I think you and I have discussed the metaphor of the sand castle once or twice.
Mm-hmm.
I don't agree with the methodology. And something that I've been saying ever since I moved here is that I hope for change for the better. My goals are shifting from stopping this to protecting who I can while I can, and hoping there's a foothold on the other side of this. Because when everything crumbles, there's going to be a vacuum. And I would very much like to protect some aspect of autonomy. If not for myself, then at least others. It is by miracle that I'm even out of prison right now and still standing upright.
Mm-hmm. Done a good job.
I don't know how much luck factors into it, but I'll take it. But that's what I'm going to try to work on, and we'll see where that goes. But that said, I know you're busy. Would you like a ride, or are you getting picked up?
I'll get picked up, but I'll walk you to the car at least. Thank you for sharing that with me too.
I have to admit, there's so many puzzle pieces, and I have so many gaps that are so far apart, I can't even move.
Well,
I think
I'm sure
we're
you've
all in
done
that
your own.
position.
I think, I'm sure you've done what you've always done, as have we. So hopefully, we're able to, in the coming days, fill a few of those gaps, not just for you, but for everybody.
Ears open.
Run back, right?
Out here. You don't have to walk me all the way
Oh,
back there
no
if
worries.
you don't want.
No worries. Not a worry at all. It's been a lot of preparation, a lot of second guessing, but there's only so much. You have to take the leap of faith, I guess.
That is very true.
I also heard that when he got married to Lucy, Lucy shot all the wedding attendees.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's dramatic.
Jeremy's been worried about you. He's been not part of Echo, but he shares a lot of the same beliefs we do.
He's one of those individuals that are a lot more dialed in than people give him credit for.
You more than you could ever believe.
EMS see a lot.
They do. There's a lot of people come through the hospital. A lot of interesting people.
I don't doubt that one bit. Oh, that's a beautiful colour.
Oh, wow.
That's a beautiful colour too.
All of the
EMS
have always had great taste.
Oh, that is very true.
I've noticed that.
And then there's... Alright, you don't need a ride, you said?
No, that'll be. Oh, there were the people that I mentioned. I don't know if you've heard anything about them.
I haven't.
They are, well, let's say that they have quite a few individuals you are very familiar with. They have been taken, and apparently they were or are being forced to work on the things that the Faceless are using to destroy the city. The bombs, maybe guns, any number of things that's been happening. They've been forcing them to essentially work in, I guess, sweatshops to make these things. And then when they think they need more hands on deck, I had doubts at first with how it was told to me, but I think that they're asking for names. It started off with just a few people, and then eventually it was Nancy, CJ, etc., Skipper. And I think that from what we were told about how they select people, they ask you, someone there, as a group maybe, to decide who's next, who's the next target. And the only reason I can think of that they would choose the people they chose is because of their skills. When you look at the names, they're Babylonians. I'm pretty sure all but maybe one is a Babylonian, and what Babylon was able to do, what they were able to build with almost nothing. The faceless probably recognize that and see it as a tool to use to hard workers and people that are crafty, but I think the people that the prisoners are choosing are people that would be instrumental if they're able to make some kind of escape attempt or something kind of to make contact with the outside.
I see.
That's so far all we've been able to learn.
It's leagues more than I've been able to figure out. Thank you.
Of course, they've got a let's see, Skipper, I believe it's Queenie, CJ. It was either Tony or Luciano. I don't recall which.
I believe it was Tony.
Bjorn. I know there was 8 individuals. Yeah. Oh, before I'll leave you with this one. I don't want to take too much more of your time. They have I guess in their cage they have a bird as well. A very big one.
Bird?
A very large one. A very, very large bird amongst all the other people that were taken.
Okay.
I think it's
helicopter?
Oh, no. It's a real bird. A real one.
Oh.
A falcon, yeah.
A falcon?
Okay, red-beaked falcon, yeah.
Huh. Okay. Eliza clocks it, but
There
she's not
are,
going to show.
Well, you know what they say about falcons. They've got sharp. What's the word? I forget the word. All right. Anyway, I won't keep you too long, Eliza. You take it easy.
Mikey, I hope you weren't about to say the word that we're not allowed to say.